Hello my friends, I'm Al and welcome back to Al's Vinyl Collection. Today we're going to be looking at the music video for Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits. This was so highly recommended on the listening to the studio track the other day, about a week or two ago, so thank you so much to everyone who commented, both recommending this and providing historical context and also some really interesting engineering context around the song. So given that I've listened to the track already, I wanted to watch this with you all and just kind of take it in and see. I know this song's about the Falklands War, so it's probably going to be somewhat bleak, but I just want to take this music video in and just see how beautiful it is. And I've prepared some notes that I have here in front of me that I want to share with you all as an opportunity to speak about this song for a second time, having done my own critical analytical listening over the past few days. So without further ado, let's just jump into the video and we can talk about the sound engineering afterwards.
These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn to be brothers in arms. Through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire, I've witnessed your suffering as the battle raged high, and though it hurt me so bad, in the fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms. There's so many different worlds, so many different suns, and we have just one world, but we live in different ones. Now the sun's gone to hell, the moon's riding high. Let me bid you farewell. Every man has to die, but it's written in the stars. every line in your palm. We're fools to make war, all our brothers in arms.
That was really beautiful. I wasn't expecting a rotoscoped video, frankly, but that was beautiful. I really loved that. There is a lot to talk about with this song. I'm going to touch on the imagery quickly that we saw. Now, obviously, this is about the Falklands War, or is written at the time of the Falklands War. As many of you pointed out, as I've read online, the use of imagery in there was nice to see references, or I say nice to see, but for me, I have a very special interest in the First and Second World Wars. For those of you who don't know, I was in an Apple TV show depicting the Second World War, Masters of the Air, brilliant show, but I have a real love for the history and a really deep emotional respect and adoration, really, of all of those who fought in the wars and who gave their lives for freedom, to fight for freedom. So it was interesting for me to see depictions of the First World War in there as well. But the music video was beautiful. That ending shot of the setting sun was beautiful, and I really liked the shot of presumably the band all holding assault rifles, and Mark Knopfler's became his Les Paul. So let's talk about the song. Let's talk about the sound engineering, because, like I said, I've got some notes in front of me that I've made, and I want to share them with you. So first and foremost, if this song being DDD, that's recorded, mixed, mastered digitally, it's amazing, because this recording probably would have forced people to go out and buy CD players to hear the full dynamic range of this song. If this was recorded on standard 1980s analog tape, you would hear a bed of tape hiss during that intro. Because they use a Sony digital tape machine, the audio space is dead quiet. Now the video starts with fading into from darkness with just some charcoal lines drawn, fading kind of into blackness and whatnot. This perfectly matches what the mixing engineer did with the audio for this song. We can hear massive long reverb tails that just vanish into absolute dead silence because of this digital recording. And it sounds exactly how the video looks, somewhat like an empty canyon. Now, the second note I made was the guitar tone. Mark Knopfler is infamous for using a Stratocaster. I think when you say Mark Knopfler, you think Stratocaster, you think money for nothing. On first listen, I didn't pick this up, but obviously the music video makes it very, very apparent that Mark is playing a Les Paul. And when you listen back to it, the second time you're listening, you're hearing that kind of fat sound, that fat tone from a Les Paul, which you just don't get from a Stratocaster. Usually they're a bit thinner. 58 Les Paul is an unmatched sound. Gibson have just this beautiful, most Gibson instruments at least, have such a beautiful tone to them. From a mixing perspective, one of the things I wrote down here was how they carved out the space for the Les Paul. So with the guitar being panned slightly left and heavily EQ'd to stay completely out of the way of Mark's voice, it really works. His voice is gravelly and it's dominating that kind of low, I'd say probably the 2 to 500 hertz range. In a bad mix, the guitar and vocal will clash and that turns into mud. But here they just sit perfectly side by side. The last major thing I noted was Terry Williams' drum. Now, I've looked up the members of Dire Straits, I've educated myself, and I've had a great time doing so. But every time that I've listened to this, including now, the transient response, for lack of a better term, is mind-blowing. A transient is the initial sharp spike of the sound. In this case, when the drumstick hits the snare, hits the cymbal. When you have analog recording, so analog tape recording, it naturally compresses and saturizes the loud spikes, the transient spikes, and it warms them up. Because this is early digital tape, there's zero compression, the drum hits are clinical, and they are as razor sharp as you heard. That's incredibly dangerous for a mixing engineer to do. If you hit digital 0, which is the absolute ceiling for the noise, it hard clips and it will ruin the track. We all have heard hard clipping audio, distorted audio, and it's really unpleasant, especially for a song like this. It would just ruin everything. So the gain staging they would have to do to keep those drums that punchy without clipping the digital converters while maintaining the quiet war-torn atmosphere is a genuine masterclass in mixing. They used the coolest, newest technology available in 1985 to create a track which feels and looks devastatingly human. It was a beautiful music video and it was a beautiful reflection of the sound, and I'm really grateful that I've had this opportunity to get some of these thoughts that I had onto paper and then out to you. I apologize for the jump cuts editing. Usually when I'm just rattling things off from the top of my head, I can go all day, but reading what I'm writing to try and deliver to you the most technical analysis that I can, it's a different thing, and I hope it wasn't too jarring to watch. Now, thank you so much for suggesting this song and this music video. I have really enjoyed watching and listening to Brothers in Arms. I do have a video listening to Money for Nothing on the way. I've heard Money for Nothing before. It's an analysis from my perspective rather than a first time listening. And that'll be out maybe next week. I'm not too sure. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for sticking around with me on this channel. I've really loved this journey, and if you'd like to keep up with me and what I'm doing and listening to these songs together and hearing these kind of sound engineering perspectives, or perspectives of a sound engineer rather, please do consider subscribing. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later, but over 95% of the people who watch these videos aren't subscribed. So come along for the ride, and thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Take care.